Personal Business is the third episode of the second season of Cheers, and while I really enjoyed it, there are not that many things that I want to mention as points of interest or points that I think are worthy of note. That's not to say that it wasn't full of good things. It's just that, unlike a lot of episodes, I didn't really find anything to be quotable. There just weren't too many small individual things, but the overarching feel of the episode, obviously very strong. And it starts off wonderfully with Coach receiving a phone call from the restaurant upstairs to say that there's a reservation ready, and it's unclear who the reservation is for. And ultimately, the joke that concluded that opening I just thought was fabulous because of how clueless Coach was. Really solid start. And then we get in with the main narrative. And actually, that's not true. We have a little bit from Norm first, and Norm this is potentially a spoiler. Okay, there will be spoilers from now, I guess, because I won't give away any big spoilers, but I do need to explain what happened with Norm to discuss it a little bit. So Norm reveals that he is split from Vera. Now, if you've seen episodes after this, you'll probably know what happens with this, but it certainly came as quite a surprise this early on in the show. I know it's the second season, but, given how long it ran for, in hindsight, it seems like it's quite early. And Norm's got an interesting response because he kind of misses her, but the gang are trying to tell him it could be a positive thing, it's a chance for a fresh start. And I like that they were supporting him and chanting Norman, which I thought was wonderful. Cliff was pretty entertaining here as well. So Norm's story is definitely unexpected and I think unpredictable and quite fascinating, particularly with what Carla does for Norm. Carla in this was a great source of comedy, not just with Norm, but with the way she responded throughout the episode to Diane. Because while Carla is fed up that Diane seems to be getting special treatment from Sam, Diane decides the best thing to do is to quit her job at Cheers and find other employment. And it's going reasonably well, but then the episode raises the question of whether somebody should work for somebody else just because of sexual attraction, whether that's an employee attracted to the employer or vice versa. And it raises some really interesting points, particularly from Sam's perspective. Now, at no point do I think Sam was being serious with his speech about the only reason Diane took the job in the first place was because of his body. But at the same time, I like the fact that it was showing that actually it can work both ways. It's not just, as we see in here, a male employer, Diane's prospective employer, objectifying his female employee. It can work both ways, and I really applaud the show for highlighting that. As I said, I don't think Sam was actually being serious, but at the same time, it raised the issue that actually it probably was the same case with Diane, so are double standards fair? Is everybody in the wrong? Or, should we wipe the slate clean and say nobody's in the wrong? It's very thought-provoking. I think it offered a really good position on that discussion. Really enjoyable episode. Definitely one that I think is semi-serious in parts, but also not the most heavy or, the most depressing episode, because we have had quite a few episodes that focus on Sam and Diane's relationship and the frequent uncertainties surrounding that, but this one's a little bit of an easier watch and of course really enjoyable. And with the subplot with Norm and Cliff cheering him on, Coach was brilliant in this. It has everything. Personal Business, it's never going to be one of my all-time favorite episodes, but I don't even think it's one of my favorites from season 2, but there is nothing wrong with it. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. It will always be an episode that I'll be very happy to watch.